website.
Okay, we are live streaming. Super fun. So I see you found some glasses for me. My other glasses.
I found a cooler pair and I was like, oh, these are awesome. And I put them on, and one of the little nose things was missing. It's like, "Pray." Like, ow, okay. That's why these are in a drawer somewhere. They're super cute, but they attacked me.
I have a lot of cute glasses.
Those are super
Talk
cute.
about
They match
cute,
your outfit today,
right?
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think one of the things we're going to nerd out today is more fun stuff that Tommy figured out that Claude can do. We had fun this past weekend. Here's some fun things while we're waiting for everybody to come on that Tommy showed us is if you go into this is everybody's since we're live streaming. If you go into ChatGPT, so Laura, go into ChatGPT and then you go into um where is
Does
it?
it matter on my phone or my computer, or is this
Doesn't matter.
6 in 1? Yeah. Okay.
Doesn't matter. So then you upload a picture and then you simply put the prompt /blueprint. And yeah, I'm going to show everybody this because I think this is, we're just going to nerd out for a few minutes while everybody else jumps on. Because this, again, super fun, nerdy stuff. Uh. Okay, I'm gonna share my screen. Because this is crazy fun since we're talking about AI and all the fun things. So I took a picture of my M5 that I'm selling, put in /blueprint, and literally, this is what it gives. It literally created a whole blueprint for it. Insane. Insane. And then another one, the exploded view. This is really cool. So I have an antique clock. There's the clock, and then /exploded view. And look at that. It literally took out all the layers of the actual clock. How freaking fun is this?
Show them the one of you and Laura um and your
The
daughter.
X-ray. Yeah, where's the X-ray? Yep, there it is. Okay, so there it is. So there's the picture of the dollhouse and the word X-ray. I mean, look at that. That's insane. But then took a picture of Sarah, Laura, and I. X-ray. Ah, that's crazy. It shows our ribs, our spine, our facial skull, your hand. That's crazy. So then the other piece that we're doing is I'm moving, and so I've got moving box inventory. Literally going to be inventorying every single box, what's in there, and then when we're done, put together a spreadsheet. It'll have literally telling me everything that's in every single moving box. So again, cool stuff. The other cool thing that we've been doing is because I'm selling a bunch of my stuff, turns out I have some really expensive stuff. But what's super cool is look at these flyers that it creates for all the items. Now, this isn't a real picture. I took a picture of my dining room set and then gave it the prompt. Tommy gave it the prompt to create the flyer, and there it is. Created the whole background, everything. That's so not what my background looks like. But again, beautiful. Like all of these, every single one. Genius. Like just creates everything beautifully. So freaking awesome. Anyway, cool stuff with GPT. That's the nerd out fun this weekend with GPT. So if GPT is using up some serious data center data, we definitely used it up this weekend. Used up our quota. Anyway, I'm complete.
Completely what?
Just
Completely
sharing.
global?
Laura found these glasses. I forgot about these. And they match my outfit today. These are my glasses for today. I think
Perfect.
maybe I'll have a glass for each day of the week or each day of the month. There we go.
Great. All right, so we are e- exploring new stuff. One of the things I wanted to explore is that let's scan this over here. We're really close to releasing and launching the Deal Hunter by Landshark website. Like really close.
And app. You're
The
releasing
app,
an
yeah,
app,
the
right?
app. It's a web app. It's a web app.
Right.
So one of the things it doesn't like is trying to sign in through Catherine's site page. So let me do this. Yeah, I don't like it over there either. Where is this one at? Come on, there it is. Right. Now it's up. So let's bring that in here. So Deal Hunter by Land Short. We're gonna do a little test on it to see how it's doing. This is a new site. Everybody see it?
So yeah, we see it.
Okay. And so you can see here, it's just let's find your first deal, whatever. We can test it, but I want to walk you through everything first. Inside of this, you can go straight into the deal hunt. Find me 5 acres, boom, 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 hunt for deals. I can add a map, screenshot file, whatever, kind of just like we do on the GPT. We can do a run this deal, where we're gonna, put info in here like the address, run this deal, boom, click it, and it'll provide all this stuff here for us. The other thing it'll do is it'll store your deals. It'll store your deals. And I'm in the process of right now building that interface on the storing deals part. Right, where in the heck did it go? Right here. This is our master copy right here of the deal room live. These are all the calls, the calls that we've read, right? The calls
Yeah.
that we've had. These are the top 10 priority deals that we got to go through. The Palisades, the Oklahoma deal, the 501 Washington, Michael Butler's deal, Ashley. Like this is going to be the interface. Is going to be this would end up being the dashboard that we're going to go with. So some of these have like our constant members. Some of them are people that came in and just dropped a pitch, right? If we go all the way down, this goes all the way through to August. It'll pull up our roster too of people who've come in, how long they've been coming. Look at Laura Miller holding it tight at the 50X.
Laura Miller wins.
Laura Miller wins.
She gets a gold medal.
Yep. So
You get to stay at the Bell Hotel.
yeah, Luke is definitely lifted up his scoring, and Ashley's up there. So it just again goes to show how many people have come in, who we've run deals with, how many times they may have stopped by. So all this good information here. We'll be adding to this also our analytics, going to showing the results of stuff. But got 106 deals logged in just from May to August. And inside of that, like we got to update them and say, which ones we've made offers on. So that we can add that metrics up here. But we've had 1 closed, 4 killed, 11 active, and 19 drop off. So
Yeah, and I think that's good statistics so people have accurate thinking about how many deals they need to
it
actually
takes to
run
do right.
before.
Like it takes a lot. You're gonna have to run through and really push to understand, So plus it's got some cool filters up here where we can get in progress, completed, archived, urgency status, all priorities, etc. So Changes screens pretty nicely, but this is just the dashboard inside of what's known as the deal room over here. Where we were building the damn site. Where we go? Come back up right here. My deals. This is what this room will look like. Okay, where it says my deals, boom, it'll show you all your deals right there like that. That dashboard. The deal room. So when people run a deal back here in Deal Hunt or in Run a Deal, and it gives them a 7 point plus or go, then they're going to be able to bring it and run the deal, and bring it to this podcast to get the deal ran, tell the story, find the numbers, stuff like that. And so to run the deal, they got to get a deal room package. So they'll get that, boom, they'll go run the deal. Run a deal will give them a package immediately, and then they can bring it to the podcast.
Right.
Right. So, and then here's our membership tiers and breakdown. They get 5 deals free, then hunt your way, right? So off of this, if they get done through running their 5 deals, they come in and it's $5 per standard deal run. They don't it's no commitment. They just get a standard deal run. They get to understand what it is. Not waiting 3 days, 3 weeks. It costs you $5. You get to keep, you get to get literally 3 weeks worth of work for $5.
Nice.
I don't see that as a bad thing. If you want to run a bunch of deals, $50 a month. If you want to be a part of just running deals, never have to worry about it. You can download this and be a part of this deal like this, where you get, unlimited deals. And it pays for itself, like $500 for the year. You get Deal Hunter for $500 for the whole year. Right? Like right now, you're able to get it on ChatGPT, but guess what? It's going to become a sales funnel. We're going to run it through the website. And the ChatGPT version is going to give very basic stuff and just become a click funnel to push them over to here. So, and they'll only get, like, there won't be any more free ChatGPT, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
So that'll be going away. So, free estimates, however, will not. Free estimates will stay free. And the reason why is because I can. But people can come in, they can tell us about the project, they want to do a remodel. It's in 85260. And kitchen. And email. Request my free estimate. Boom. Here it comes. What do you know? You're not paying attention.
No, I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm dumbfounded.
I
So, can people access this yet, or is this still like
no, this
in
is just in
program
demo
mode?
It's in demo
Oh,
mode.
got it.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Do
Yeah,
we have
my
anybody
brain's
in here right
like,
now?
yeah, we've got Mel.
Hey guys, good morning or good afternoon.
Good morning, Mel. How are you?
Good, thank you for asking. Hope you guys had a good weekend.
We did. It was super busy. How was yours?
Same. I had an event last week and just getting back to everybody, thanking them for their support. Took some time off yesterday, but
The phone's breaking up. Or the computer breaking
Yeah,
up?
we're having a hard time hearing you. You might want to just turn off your video so we can hear you. Your connection a little.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me better?
Now we can hear you clear.
All right. Yeah, just taking these last 2 weeks of August, taking it easy to do B projects and C projects. Now that I got a chance, there's no business being created these last 2 weeks as everybody gets ready for school up here in Canada. So all the execs are taking care of their kids in university dorm rooms and the rest. You know how it goes, Catherine.
I do know how it goes.
Yeah. So just thought I'd take this time to peer in to see how your progress is going, getting to learn more about you guys. What is the product? What is the positioning? What's the end goal? And is there a fit?
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, what, yeah, that is interesting. Mel, so what's going on with you, Mel? Because like this podcast, Monday through Friday, 9 to 10 a.m., is to kind of help people looking to do real estate investing and get in and do real estate investing that's not consumed with waiting for other people to come back with information. And we built out this AI to kind of help expedite people's real estate investing opportunities.
Right. I've got an address for you. I thought maybe today I could
Whoop, whoop.
maybe ask you guys for your perspective on things. So had a conversation with a group out of Florida. Now, as you know, I'm up here in Toronto. So I
Yeah.
don't know much about the area, but I like the opportunity. It's going to be a sale leaseback. I can give you the address and let's see what your app can do.
Let's do a test run on it real quick.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
1540 Skippers Way, northeast, I believe. And this is in Palm Bay, Florida.
All right, so it ran that deal right there. What I want to do, because of the fact that I'm myself, I want to make sure that we're getting the right deal ran. Catherine, do you see if I can? I don't know if it'll mess it up. I'm going to rerun this address over on the deal hunter by Landshark.
Oh, the other
ChatGPT
GPT.
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me see here. And then I'm gonna shift enter, run this deal. And so what I'm doing right now, Mel, is I'm pulling in my GPT. See, here's classic GPT right here. And it's running the Deal Hunter by Landshark GPT right now. So, and as fast as that, okay, so it says here, hold on, right here up at the top, it says demo sample analysis, replace assumptions with verified property data before making decisions. Okay, so what it's doing is it just maybe showing me some info here. Let's see. So it says type multifamily student housing. Current list asking on Crexy is that it's 20 mil, 60 units, 276 beds. Does that sound about right?
Yep, I've got 60 unit student residence, about 118,000 square feet, 276 beds, 5 dorm buildings. So there are 5 separate buildings with about 3.96 acres of vacant land behind it. That is the correct asking price.
Yeah, so we're hitting all those numbers, you know,
Mm-hmm.
3.96 acres. The website didn't land, but the app, the chat GPT always does. Like I've been trying to break it strategically for a long time now.
Right.
But yeah,
So what exactly is it telling us?
so right here on the executive deal snapshot, its primary strategy is to acquire 5-year triple net leaseback income. The secondary strategy would be to do a multifamily redevelopment with the expansion and eventual tenanting or conventional multifamily operation. Going from a 60 unit up to 79 additional. So
Yeah, that's all in the broker's package.
yeah, what makes this, well, yeah, it's in the broker's package, but it just pulled it from an address. So I didn't put
Mhm.
any, I don't have, it's went out, pulled this information forward for us. Many times what I end up doing is I end up having a deal come across my desk that doesn't have enough information. And so I'm gonna make it go out and grab all that. And you can see here, I taught it correctly. It's gone out and grabbed Crexy where you're bringing the info. One of the other things it's bringing in is the Palm Bay GIS system, this is where it's checking current zoning and stuff like that as well, verifying the information that it found on Craigslist, right? Like I'm double checking the double check part. So
Right.
public record property check comes back, giving us some info from the LoopNet. Does indicate there's some flood indication of being a X flood zoning. These are moderate flood hazards. If you live in the state of Florida, the whole state's a flood zone. Um, like it's beach all the way to Georgia. So, good luck. The 5.74 million in December 2012 shows that was the last time it was traded and recorded. So, do with that what you will. But the income analysis shows that it implies that if it's at a 6.5 cap, that they should be making about 1.33 million or 111,000 a month. Does that sound about
Right.
where you've been told?
Yep. That's exactly what the president of the university said.
So the financing test here is, that you can come in and test realistically a 65% LTV with a 30-year amortization structure. Breaks it all down for you and shows you that you'd end up with a DSCR that falls approximately in the 1.28x area. Okay. So
That's at a cap rate of 6.75%, Tom?
that's at the 6.75. Yep.
Okay.
And well, that's not at a cap. No, that's at a interest of 6.75.
Okay.
Hold on. Let me see. So at a 6.25 debt service, this is what we're talking about here. It's a financing test.
Got
So
it. Okay.
testing your financing at this rate, if you can get financing on it 65% LTV, your debt is going to be 13 million. You still got to pull 7.1 in equity forward. And then so your debt service annually is going to be 986,000 plus. So you'll end up with a 1.35 DSCR pre-tax cash flow. So your cash on cash lands out about 4.85% if you get the 6.25 loan on the 65%. If you go 6.7%,
DSCR looks good.
the DSCR goes to 1.28. So there's very little leverage on that side of it at full asking price. So the stress test comes in here. If your exit caps are here and your values are over here, now you know where you can kind of say, hey, based on your asking price, we need to make some adjustments. And the reasons you can apply to that will be supplied through a conversation with this. You can say, justify a 7.5 cap rate. And it'll try like hell to justify it. If it won't, it'll tell you I can't justify it, But until you
Right.
actually have these documents, the T12s in your hand and everything, you're not going to know for sure anyway. Right? So these are based on ideas and theory. And so again, coming in here telling them that you want to be negotiable, that's all you're asking for, and you can now find defensible reasons for it that are available. Market demand reads are provided so that you can understand, like it says, this is a student housing comp pulling student housing. That's important. Like that's a unique asset delivery. Plus you have the area in the back that could include another 20 units per acre. So you're looking at adding possibly another 70 to 80 units. You could get funding to do that. So the recommended acquisition range in this thing is that it wants you to try to go between a 7 and a 7.5 cap. And the reason is because it's going to increase your DSCR quite a bit and give you more return available, because you're going to need to raise the equity. That 7, and if you got to come up with 5 to 7 million in equity, you're going to need to have some LP partners maybe with that, I'm assuming.
Yep.
Unless
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I'm worried about that cash on cash though. Like who's gonna want 4 point whatever 8% cash on cash return?
Correct.
So it
So
would have to be a
that's why
big
coming into
discount.
this, you're looking at it and you're saying, hey, I need to make some adjustments to that price. Because when you buy it on the right side, then you have the ability to make some, make some leverage there. Your red flags that come in, it's a 5-year triple net deal. It's not the same as a 15 or 20-year credit tenant lease. So getting that figured out quickly is important. So here's some more red flags, some mini SWOT analysis, your primary backup exit, your lender investor view, only 5-year lease term, aggressive at the 20 million, mitigation says don't pay it. So final deal verdict is to renegotiate. Like biggest opportunity is that you can add another 70 units, 80 units in the back, but that biggest risk is the residual value after the 5-year sale lease back ends, you know?
Right.
So it might be still only worth 20 million when you get to that point. So,
Are you able to ask it a question further?
yeah, absolutely.
Like if you were to say, hey, look, I need a cash on cash for my investors at 8%, what's the maximum allowable offer I could
Give me a
present?
market offer if I'm looking to give an 8% return to my investors, cash on cash return of 8% or better. Give me a breakdown of that so I know exactly what I need to do to make that offer. And then also provide me some defendable opportunities to pay about a 7.5 to an 8.5 cap rate on this property. I don't understand why they want so much money on this thing for what they've got. We would want to understand like how they justify it, or we need to come up with defensible reasons to pay 7.5 to 8.5. And so now it'll spend, you know, a while going through pulling data, like it's saying, it's searching 25 different websites just to get this figured out for us.
Yeah,
So,
that's good. I'd like to know what the comps are, what kind of cap rates are being presented for similar type product.
right.
I figure this has to be purchased at a 10 cap or an 8 cap,
Yeah.
great somewhere in there in order to make the numbers compelling enough for investors to want to come in.
So as it's going through, it's going to also identify more and more about what to present here. If your
Mhm.
investors require an 8% plus cash on cash from day one, I would open at approximately 15 to 15.9, 15.7 to 15.9, and a target closing around 16.75, and treat roughly 16.85 as the primary ceiling to moving this. So what that does is essentially put you at an 8 cap going in with an 8 plus cash on cash return. So the seller's current $20 million asking price is advertised as a 6.5% triple net yield capitalized into value, but the listing markets a $20 million 60 unit 276 bed 5-year lease back. So it's not appreciating that it's if it was a different structure that 6.5 might land different is basically what it's saying.
Right. Yeah.
Using the advertised economics that the income says that it's gonna have like a 1.33 million. Like that's got to be contractually intact. So if it's not, then we've got to make some adjustments. And one of the things I pay attention to is this price per bed. And so much of that determines, like, for me, like, is it going at the going rate? Is it at the going price? Because
Right.
if I'm building units out there brand new for 60K a unit, this is a per bed price, not a per unit price.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I
Right.
like the 8.5. Like I said, somewhere between 8.5 or 8 and 10. I figure we'd land.
Yeah, yeah.
That would
So
bring the price per bed down, around
that
50 grand per bed, if not lower.
right, that's the area
I
you
like
want
where
to
this
hit.
is going. Hmm.
So It shows here your break point to get your 8% cash on cash is at 16.84. How long would it have taken you to come up with these calculations?
Probably a few days just so that I can put it into a pro forma and figure out what what the risks are and how much more
Right,
I can afford to squeeze. And I'd have to backtrack and try to get as many comparables as I can to see whether or not what I've come up with is in reason or in line with the market and probably in line with their expectations. As a
right.
school, I get it. They want to be as conservative as possible. I like the sale leaseback option because it guarantees me cash flow for 5 years, but it's only
Sure.
going to work at the right purchase price. And if their expectation is out to lunch, I can't afford to do the same. So I'd rather just do my analysis and say, okay, here's my highest and best.
Yep.
If this is something we're talking about, let's take this term sheet and turn it into something real.
And I think this is the part to pay attention to the most. It was renovated in 2012, right? And so these buildings are
Hmm.
20 years old. You're taking on all that situation. I know if it's a truly a triple net lease, right? That's one thing, but this is a physical asset that you have to take care of, even if they don't. Like if they decide
Hmm.
not to, you lose your income because you didn't fix the roof or the AC, right?
Right.
So, and then some of the things that you can build on that defense are right here, right? Along with like when you look at the comps, because sometimes the difficulty with comps are that like this particular property, this sale leaseback property is right next to a basic college. It's not next to a top, like it said, it's not next to a top five college. It's a basic
Right.
college, right? And so they're trying to get top of value where they need to just take bottom of value because they're getting lease options that they choose, right? So if you're not presenting them with what the lease option or what the lease terms need to look like and they get to pick that, then you should probably be able to pick the sale price. So,
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, you got it. Your price, my terms, or the other way around, right?
or the other way around, yeah. And so
Yeah.
let's see if we can do this right here. I want to
Like
build
I'm
out
going to.
I want to build out a pro forma based on all this information. Make it so that I can use it to alter it, so make it dynamic in a way that I can adjust things and understand how to make the best offer on top of getting the most from the sale leaseback opportunity. Provide me with that in a spreadsheet that I can copy, edit, download. And so now this deal owner is going to go out and pull back all that information that we've provided it. Um, and then what you'll be able to do is they'll send you T1, T12s and docs and all that, and you can create
Hmm.
a folder inside of here and just load all that documentation that you got and what you created and what they sent you, put all that together and boom. um, the thing will say, okay, here's where your discrepancies are, here's where your arguing points are. And back to the comping, when you comp something like this, you're going to want to comp something that's next to junior colleges or state colleges and doing the same thing and be like, okay, this property sold for X amount of dollars. So when it gets done doing this real quick, I'll make sure we started on that path before we review. Um, and then what I'll do is, let's see. What I'll
Yeah,
do
very
is
cool
I'll
because there's
put in
not a
there
lot
to
of
get,
comps out there.
go ahead.
I said that's very cool because there are not a lot of comps out there, especially up here in Toronto. I'd be spending days trying to find comps in Florida.
Well, you wouldn't even need to use Florida. This is an example of how like RV parks go. Like when you sell an RV
Hmm.
park or you're comping an RV park, you're not going to be like, oh, an RV park that sold a mile down the road. That's a residential comp. When you comp an RV park, you're comping it based on market analysis and a market approach is I've got a 20 unit park with 10 acres and this is and I'm using those parameters and then I'm going out and asking it to provide me the same across the country. And so I might even include, like, mine is by a national park, so only find the ones by national parks and provide me those so that I'm not, I'm not searching forever on those. So,
Cool.
and as this continues to like build this page, um, it'll give us an opportunity to run those comps and see what it brings back. Now, what's funny is the
I'm wondering how
website.
that compares, Tom, to like a cost approach. Like if you were to build right from the land, the ground up, what would it cost you to build something that's like this or the exact
So
same
that
thing?
there's three ways to do your approaches. You got cost approach, you got asset approach, and you got market approach. And
Right.
so inside of comping it to buy it, you can do either market or asset. But in the cost, it would be more on like on the back where you got the 20 acres. What did it cost to build the newest one down the road or around the area? That's that size that doing the same thing. Then
Hmm.
that's how you comp the land because you're able to do 10 to 15% on that 3.5 acres. If I know for sure I can build those extra 80 units right there, then I will go ahead and comp the land based on that future value at 10% of the future value or 15% of the
Right.
future value. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Income
So,
approach or cost approach. Sure.
right. So inside of this provided a fair analysis, I would say, of what we were able to discuss, putting the capital stack together, and it looks like it's dynamic. I can go in and make adjustments to it if I need to, but this is the offer you want. And here's the inputs we had to it, the asking price and all that stuff. And usually this is when I hand it to Catherine, when it does this stuff down here where it pushes stuff together. Catherine does a really good job of making stuff spread out and look better than what I do. There we go. So anyway, all that stuff down there, offer matrix, and I can adjust and do the things that I need to there, your lease, your 5-year projection. How long would it have taken you to manually make these? Do you think, Catherine?
I mean, this normally it's I mean several days for sure to
Yeah,
grab all of the things and then more importantly link all the formulas back from all the sheets and cells to each other. And I love building spreadsheets. So,
you're right.
but more importantly, like I love building them. I love like analyzing them. And so now having my time freed up from building them to just analyzing them. I mean, yeah, it's huge.
Right,
I had
right,
a
right.
call last week. Somebody brought me, I don't know, it's like a $200 million project, and I told them what to build, and they built the whole thing out. And literally in under 2 minutes, I was able to go in and say, "There it is, right there. There's your problem. Go fix that." Where had we had to build the whole thing out ourselves, I mean, again, it's just the amount of time that gets saved and the brain damage.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. So
it's
from
yeah.
what I understand, you guys have your own fund and you're acquiring properties, or you just syndicators yourself?
We acquire
So
properties and do the syndication. We do joint venture. We do sponsorship. We do co-GPs.
raise
Uh,
capital for deals.
Yeah, it depends
Great.
on the deal and what's brought forward and where we're experts at. So, with me being a developer general contractor, a lot of mine is spent on sponsoring deals that need construction knowledge and experience. So,
Excellent. Catherine, you know any investors up here that would look to investing in the senior living space?
Senior living space in Canada.
Yeah, so I introduced myself as a commercial real estate broker that's doing developments here in Ontario. We're
Right.
doing facilities on behalf of senior living operators out here, the likes of Welltower, Extendicare, Chartwell, Sienna. And so it's almost like a design build. We know that they are struggling for market share. They're flush with cash. Stock prices are through the roof. And so they want to go out and acquire new property, but they don't want to get into the development game because they see that as a risk. However, they will provide some mezz loan or bridge financing. So what we try to do is go out, find the land, get the entitlements, go back to them with a feasibility study, get their buy-in, and then we go out and we develop, and then they buy it from us once it's up and running. They'll put their sales office in there, and that's usually a turnaround between 3 and 4 years. And we're able to get internal rates of return in excess of 23, 24%. We're offering some pretty good preferred returns to investors. So the key here is that I don't want to deal with just a small retail investor, right? I only want 4 or 5 huge investors on each project. And each project, we're opening it up to about $2.5 million in capital raising. We as a group put in the other 2.5. We're the ones, the key partners on title, indemnifying, guaranteeing the debt. But yeah, just always looking for high net worth individuals. And so, every community has their group of investors, but there's a lot more communities out there that are just smaller retail investors, 50,000, 75,000.
Right.
I'm looking a little more for sophisticated investors, but back to Tommy's point, when I first hooked up with you guys, I thought he had a pretty unique strategy. Look, just keep finding opportunities, place that on social media as a product or service, and get your name out and just get everybody to sort of link back to what you said, Catherine Bell. Just have your avatar, and then people get to know who you are. And then from there, you put it in your Go High Level and start your campaign. So I think there's something to just having the ability to look and find deals, then post those deals as Tommy did in Facebook Marketplace, and then get people to come to your avatar and make a name for yourself that way. But this definitely saves time. Like if you're looking for more deals and you can do it in half the time, then you've got something to talk about with these potential investors that are finding this opportunity online as you post them, right? So
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure this whole game out. Like I said to you, I'm not social media savvy. I just need an architecture and a framework for having this sort of symbiotic thing between one platform and my CRM, and everything works together. And I need to pull information from all different places in order to put it in front of my audience and my existing database in my CRM. So that's sort of what I'm thinking in the background, how to put it all together, how to incorporate you guys into my business strategy.
Yeah, the mid-funnel nurture, I mean, that's a huge part of what Deal Hunter and Land Shark is it's the you have your top of funnel, mid funnel, bottom of funnel. So top of funnel is where they learn about you. Your mid funnel is where you provide enormous amounts of value. And then bottom of funnel is where they cross the line and actually become an investor. So the question is, again, last week I spent 3 days working with another fund, and because they had, reached their limit on, all their investors, and they couldn't understand why they weren't bringing in more. And it was because, again, their ideal client avatar was labeled as a high net worth individual. That was it. And by the time we were done, they literally had a 600-page Rosetta Stone that now is crystal clear who their ideal client avatar is. So now they can have right message, right time in front of the right person, and then right mid-funnel nurture sequence. And so by that, now they're able to really go out and use the AI agents, all the AI tools that we build to get in front of them so that they can bring them in and really start providing enormous amounts of value to them. Like one of the tools that I use is a clone of myself, and she's had over 118,000 conversations with people. And again, just answers an enormous amount of questions and provides enormous amounts of value in coaching people around their investing and their deals and stuff. Because again, I built her as the part of the mid-funnel nurture sequence. So inside of what you're doing, it's the to answer your question, I have connections to those groups up in Canada, yes. And it's been interesting because a lot of people in Canada have been
Are
working
they
to,
only interested in property in Canada, or do they want property all over? Is it
well,
asset based or just Canada?
No, for us, my primary focus is for pension funds, family offices, endowments, high net worth individuals here closer to home. Typically, what I find is that anybody that does business with me, whether they trust me or not, want to know that there's a tangible asset that they're investing in. So they want to be within a couple hours and knowing that, hey, there is the property. I can see the condition of the property. It turns out exactly what Mel's talking about, and I can see the progress of the development. So that's why it's easier for me to just sell the idea to people that are more local. But I do have a lot of friends that are looking to invest in the U.S. And so
yeah, and
I
that's
came across this one. So I thought, okay, if I'm going to put out a newsletter or if I'm going to do some social media, I think the key thing here is to be known and recognized as someone that brings opportunities. And as part of the social media calendar, I'd love to just say, here's another deal, here's another deal, here's another deal, and soon be recognized with the go-to guy. Like, hey, do you have anything in this area? Or do you have anything in this asset class? So I'm just sort of testing that thinking and I'm just blue skying for a moment. But, I came across this one in Florida, which I think it's in line with how I do my investing. So if I can almost guarantee cash flow from day one, guaranteed by a college or a university, that takes away a lot of the risk. And if it buys me 5 years of time because I've got 5 years secured cash flow, now the question just becomes at what point or at what price do I buy it to provide a return? I'll put all that other language in there that's going to protect me in the lease, restoration clauses or early termination provisions. All that stuff is easy. But just coming from a marketing point of view, I'm trying to, like I said, sort of build out that framework. Now, with regards to the Rosetta Stone, for me, there are two sides to my business. Obviously, there's the broker side, which is just transaction, helping people lease space, helping people find space for their companies or invest one-offs for their businesses. And then there is the investment side, true syndication, where I actually partner up with my clients and my customers in commercial real estate with the intention of making a return, right? So
right.
I don't know how that Rosetta Stone would look if it's a two-faced or double-sided or two-pronged approach. One is focused on tenants and corporations looking for space, occupy space, and the other is actually on the ownership side, people looking to grow their portfolio either as a passive investor or an active investor.
Yeah, and that's the piece. It would be two separate Rosetta Stones, and because it's two different ideal client avatars. And the thing to understand, like it, what I'm seeing is the investors in Canada are looking to get into the U.S. market just because Canada's economy has sucked wind for quite some time when it comes to investments. So that's the question you want to go to is understanding when you fully understand your ideal client avatar and psychologically and emotionally what's going on with them, then that's when everything changes, right? Like rather than you trying to push something onto them, when you can get into their psychology and emotionally what's happening with them and get out in front of that, now they're like, oh my gosh, how is it that he's reading our minds?
Yeah, exactly.
And
Exactly.
that's what the Rosetta Stone does.
Cool.
Mm.
I like it. Now it's just a
Yeah,
matter of
so
whether I can afford you guys.
back to the back to the comps here, Mel, it showed like Panther Bay coming in, at below benchmarks. It said I told it to give me 5 comps. Um, and so from the Florida student housing plus local multifamily plus institutional student housing benchmarks, what it came back with is showing that that a couple of units were sold in that area. And that basically the price per bed of 75,000 per bed, it shows that the national student average is about 102 to 130. So, and that's those are based on benchmarks set by Berkadia and Cushman Wakefield. Okay, in
Mhm.
2024 and 2025. That's the data that it provided. So, but it's saying that that's misleading due to the fact that that's the national average on properties that have a 5.7 to 6.7 institutional cap. But when you put in there the short-term list, short lease duration, the secondary market, the specialized use, like, because again, some of these are set up with 5 bed, 5 bath, like units. So it's a 5 bed, 5 bath dorm configuration, you know, that's not necessarily going to convert nicely over to multifamily if the school closes, right?
Right.
So these are things that you're putting into consideration. You'd have to spend a lot of money converting the property over to something then. So in that range, 7.0 to 8.5, here's what it's showing you. And again, your price is where it lands, why the comps are in that range, you know, and then and so yeah, Deal Hunter can break it down for you and get it understandable in a very rapid amount of time. The thing Deal Hunter does is it helps you buy back time and bring forward confidence inside of the deal that you're doing. So, you know, when the website's done, and that's the thing, right now, I'm doing all this for free through ChatGPT. And it goes through
Right.
ChatGPT for free. But once we build the website's going to become something that people have to pay for and all that because of the fact that it becomes a massive tool for people to use. And at the end of the day, we're going to have to maintain it and keep it up so that you know you end up with dashboards like this where you're able to run all your deals, 38 deals, you know, how many deals did you get closed? One, you know, any rejects, zero, new items this month, 23. So it shows you're getting stuff done. Like you can have real-time KPIs by using our it's more than it just becomes more than a ChatGPT agent. It becomes a legitimate side-by-side companion for you as you're doing your business. So, and again, we use same rules apply. I'm doing this to find deals for me inside of what I'm doing. But when Catherine builds the Rosetta Stones and puts the brain in it, the brain becomes your brain. And the more you use it, it becomes more critique to that. So, you know, it doesn't have to be a deal hunter brain. It can literally be a Mel brain that does what Mel wants and how Mel thinks and how Mel sees it. Right. And
Yeah, Mel's
so
brain is a tiny, tiny brain. I'm wondering how Catherine had backfilled context
and
and
here's the thing,
experience.
AI expands it. It'll take small
Yeah,
ideas and help open those doors and kind of like a Pandora's box that every time you turn it and open something new, there it becomes a new shape. And that's the beauty of AI. I I come from a background of construction, and yet I'm building these tools inside of AI because I'm telling AI, teach me how to do this. And then it's teaching me and then validating it and providing me with what worked.
right.
Holy crap, you know? And so, because again, I've got a blue collar brain, but here I am, you know, running a nerd show every day, 9 to 10 a.m., you know?
Yeah. Catherine, how
So
did you backfill all the information? Obviously, you're not an expert in everything, but for it to have 110,000 conversations, unless it's the same conversation, how could it become so robust? Where is it getting the knowledge base from, if not from your own personal experience?
So, ultimately it comes down to here's what I have found inside of working and creating all of this for companies is that the hardest thing it is for any business owner is to basically open their brain and pull out all that knowledge, wisdom, experience, everything into actual black and white words like that are on the screen. That's the hardest thing for any business owner to do. And that is my genius in being able to do that over the last several decades. And so that takes 3 days. I literally crack open your head, so to speak. We pull it all out and we actually get it into this Rosetta Stone. And from that Rosetta Stone, that's where all the knowledge, the wisdom, experience, like imagine if somebody had all that access to your brain, like what that would actually provide for them. And so
Right.
that's exactly what the Rosetta Stone ends up being by the end of the 3 days. It's an experience that you'll never like nobody Everybody that has worked with me is like blown away by the end of the experience, that they've never had any experience the way that I coach and teach and pull all of that out. Again, I've been doing this for years and years, decades, and I've done this with multiple business owners. I think that's part of the genius that God gave me, is pulling everything out of business owners and entrepreneurs' brains and putting it into something that actually can be used.
Great.
So,
Yeah, sounds good. I trust you. I'm
yeah.
sure Tommy does. Laura does.
If you go to my LinkedIn profile under recommendations, you'll see a ton of companies have actually said how it was to actually work with me and what the results were. Multiple companies have credited my AI system for what we created. They now have over $100 million dollars of assets under management because
That's
of what
great.
we built out. So,
Excellent.
yeah, the bottleneck continues to be the business owner.
Yeah, we're always standing in our own way, aren't we?
Well, it's hard to be the one that has all the knowledge and wisdom. And then, how do you now give that to everybody? Well, the beautiful part is how we build it out through the Rosetta Stone is now people, whoever you choose, now has access 24/7 to it.
Yeah,
So,
that's
yeah,
awesome.
Tommy that's the one we just did
This is the
last
call
week,
that you just had last
the
week
coaching for 3 weeks,
with
for
Rich
3 days.
Thompson.
Hmm.
3-day call. Um, each one lasting 3 hours and better than 30 minutes. So 3 hours, 30 minutes or longer. And so Catherine consumes most of that conversation in days 1 and day 3, but in that day 2 segment, the questions coming in are from Rich. And so then when they get to day 3, you can see here 135 questions asked, mostly by Catherine, to help continue pulling that stuff forward, right? And
Right.
so we run one of these snapshot call audits on every call for Catherine to make sure that she stays consistent. And inside of this call too, Ann Thompson and Dale Nugent were on the call. Those are Rich's employees
Partners.
and partner. And they're in there so they can understand as well. So that way, when Rich isn't available, they're able to use that Rosetta Stone in place of Rich in order to get stuff understood, and not necessarily that it's going to make decisions for Rich. It minimizes Rich's need for decision making, and then at the end we're able to come up with who, what, by when, and just Catherine does a follow up usually a couple weeks after to make sure everything's tuned in still, and see if there's anything needs to be added or subtracted. But basically, the way that large language models, because that's what we're working in. The way they work is like, I mean, do you remember that movie where the robot like sat there and read the phone book, and he read all these books and became like super brilliant like overnight? Um, he was a like a drone, if you will, with tracks on it. Johnny Five is the name of the
Yeah,
thing, but
I'm trying to
Okay.
remember the name of that movie.
I don't
What's
remember the name of the movie. Short
Yeah, I was
Circuit or
thinking Ex
something like
Machina,
that.
Short
but she ends
Circuit.
up killing.
Yeah, and so that to me is what AI. That's how I think AI works. Is like if I send it file on top of file and say, okay, learn all these files. And when you learn all these files, report back to me, allow me to be the expert. So interview me. And that's something else. If you're not doing this with your AI, learn how to do it. Say, I want to learn how to do crocheting. Interview me to see if I have the skills to do it. And so then AI is going to start asking me, do I know what a loop is? Do I know what a this is or that? And it's going to ask me these questions at the end. It's going to say, well, you're kind of a beginner. So I would not suggest you go out and start learning, start buying stuff. Let's start with the basics, and it'll ask me, do you want to learn the technology? Do you want to learn the vocabulary? How do you want to learn? And so I will use AI to teach me how to teach it and go back and forth with it, back and forth with it, back and forth with it. And that basically, at the end of the day, how progressive machine learning happens is that inside of doing Deal Hunter, I got Deal Hunter to actually do a Barrett Jackson 1964 Thunderbird deal and say, okay, I sent it the pictures, I sent it the VIN number. I said, what is this going to go for at Barrett Jackson based on what it's looking like right now? Boom, it gave me that price. Blew me away. I was like, holy crap. And then sure enough, the guy that had the car was like, yeah, we cleaned it up, sold it. It sold for close to what you had it, on your thing. Holy cow. So same rules apply when it comes to AI. It's really amazing. I'm seeing I got a
Good job.
call. I'm 2 minutes late for, so let me wrap this up with a prayer. Appreciate
Yep.
everyone coming in. And anyone I didn't say good morning to or hello to, I'm sorry. We'll see you guys tomorrow. But Heavenly Father, thank you for the blessing of this day and the blessing of this life. We ask that you continue to bless and guide us so we always do your will. Take us out into your world and may us do your son's bidding. In your name we pray. Amen. So
Amen.
everyone have a wonderful day. I've got to jump over to this other call. You guys have.
Thanks, guys.